Hey guys, Dark Prometheus here. We are in our scouting video here as we will be looking at our overall team, go through the roster, find out where we want to pull some players in, and go from there. So at quarterback, Cutler made his first Pro Bowl. I mean, it's a lot of cap space there, but we're not hindered in cap space right now. We're not going to re-sign Hoyer. We ended up actually re-signing Fails. Let's look at this from a contract standpoint. So we know who we've re-signed and who we have not. So yes, at quarterback, Hoyer is gone after the season. We have not re-signed Fails. And Sean Mannion's our practice squad. He'll be staying with us as well. At halfback, Langford's 2 years. Juckus Rogers, we may end up cutting him. It's just, he was not effective this year. And if I pick up another halfback, it's going to be someone that can play as a dual. A guy I'm comfortable with starting if anything goes wrong. And a guy I'm comfortable in kick returns. Kadeem Carey here. We may end up re-signing him. He's a good piece. We'll have to see how much he wants. Drake here's on our practice squad. And Jordan Howard will be seeing some more carries behind Langford. Fullback, Lasaki definitely will be staying here. Good fullback. We just got to get him up to speed. At receiver, we re-signed Alshon Jeffrey to a 70.7 5-year deal. So he will be definitely staying with us. He'll count 10, 12, 14, 18 towards as the years go on, so not too bad. Kevin White, he's on contract. Eddie Royal will not be. We did pay him $9.5 million. We'll see what we can give him. Marquise Wilson will be staying with us. Josh Bellamy, Cameron Meredith, DeAndre Thompson, and Daniel Braverman. With Bellamy, I think I would rather take Cameron Meredith. He's not only younger, but I believe he has. They're about the same size. It's just Cameron Meredith I'm more comfortable with in the grand scheme of things. Tight end Zach Miller will definitely be looking to resign him, but we'll need some depth. And after Moyaki's 30, we may end up drafting another tight end or pulling in one from free agency or maybe even two for some competition here. Left tackle, Chandler is gone. Leno will look possibly to re-sign him, but left tackle is definitely a need. Left guard, Ted Lawson's out of here, but we do have Cody White here, who we just drafted going in his second year. Good player. Center, we're going to keep on going with Horace Grisao. He's been playing pretty good. Kyle Long, we just re-signed him to a 33.8 5-year deal, so he'll be with us for foreseeable future. Bobby Massey made the Pro Bowl, had some good stuff as the season wore on, but getting in that playoff, just speed rushes on the outside, he just may not be able to handle it. So if we can pull the trigger on someone, we may do it, but if not, we will definitely not be stressing at a right tackle position, and Wallace will be out of here. Left end, Hicks is still on contract for a year, Cornelius Washington as well, and Robert Harris has 2 years still on contract. On right end, so Unruh did some good work. Ego Ferguson's going the last part of his deal. We did draft Jonathan Bullard in the 5th round, and we do have Carl Nassib, who we brought in, and he's on our practice squad. So what we may end up doing is cycling in Bullard and Nassib and seeing what Unruh has at age 30. Ego Ferguson may or may not, depending. We may bring him in for some depth, see how he does. At nose tackle, Eddie Goldman here has been doing a lot of work. Not a lot of impact in tackles, but he's been clogging the middle of the field, helping out the defense. And then Will Sutton here is backup. At left linebacker, Pernell McPhee will also be keeping him. Willie Young will also be keeping him as well. These guys alone is $13 million on the salary cap just at left linebacker. Middle linebackers. So we end up keeping Anderson, Katakowski, Timu on the practice squad. Jonathan Anderson came in some relief and just I was not happy with his performance for the most part. Timu, I think he's a little underweight. He's not gonna be able to play a position, so Anderson and Timu are probably gonna be cut. Christian Jones, you can move around all over the place, so that's a guy that we definitely be keeping. And Kowalski will definitely be seeing some time over here, but really we could use another guy to bring in. Because honestly, after losing Christian Jones and having Trevathan out, and Freeman, and we just need more depth here. At right outside linebacker, Lamar Houston came in. He did start the season. Floyd kind of picked it up, so we went with him. But Houston did have some good depth work behind Floyd. Sam Acho, we're not going to definitely look at signing him. We're going to be concentrating more of our little middle linebacker position. And with Christian Jones here can float around, I'm not really worried about having a injury pass rush or anything. We'll just look at possibly putting one on the practice squad in case we need one. At corner, Glenn and Jones are both on our practice squad. Hall, Callahan, Porter, and Fuller are going to be the guys we rely on. Tracy Porter is 31. Kyle Fuller is going into his last year's rookie contract. Callahan did some work. He's an up-and-coming player. He will progress. And then Hall did a lot of work in the dime packages. So we may look at getting another number one or a potential number one to play up here with Fuller and Porter in case something happens. Free safety, Amos doing a lot of work. He's a good player. Houston Carson came in for some spots. So I'm very comfortable at our free safety position. Over on strong safety, Brzezinski is a big special teams player. And if there's an injury, we should have played Brzezinski. But I ended up playing Bush instead. And we lost that game because Bush just gave up 2 touchdowns late in the game to the Cowboys, and we went out of the playoffs. So Brzezinski definitely is a guy that we'll be keeping on the roster. Kicker, Robbie Gold. We're going to see how long we can keep him for. Punter. I'm comfortable with Pat O'Donnell. He's a decent punter. So, going over our players there in our scouting, I'm not going to physically scout anything, but we're going to look over our watch list. So we do have, we'll go by positions. At quarterback, I was looking at a couple of quarterbacks here in the second round if they fall. So we have Gene Skaggs that is projected to fall to the 4th round. Decent throw power, decent short, decent throw on the run. He may not be the best quarterback he's not going to be. But if he ends up falling to the 4th or the 5th round, that is a guy we will pull the trigger on. Just because of that throw power and short accuracy, throw on the run. He's a mobile quarterback. We could use him more in a sense of how we use Jay Cutler and be more mobile. We also need more development. We did look at a lot of halfbacks between some one cuts and power backs and trying to see something we can pull in for dual duties as possibly a 3rd down running back if Langford is gassed or and even in kick return roles. So I mean we looked at a couple guys late, but really didn't see a whole lot besides Rickhez McCown here. Projected 4th rounder. He's projected to go in the 4th round, but they say his talent is about a 3rd round pick. But for the most part, later on in the rounds, besides Trevor Bonner, they say he's going to fall. And he doesn't look like he's going to fall with that carrying to be undrafted. Didn't really see a whole lot besides the speed back here. And the carrying really isn't an issue for the most part with me because they won't be touching the ball that much. Fullback, we like Lasaki. At receiver, with Eddie Royal getting older, and the fact that we don't have a guy that can play a number two or a number one or can step up in case we have injuries, which really killed us, I definitely took some crack and some look at some receivers. You have AJ Forte here. Looks like a pretty decent possession receiver. Good spec catch, catching traffic, good catching in general. Then you have this guy here, Dalvin LaShore, 6'6", red zone threat. Good spectacular catch, catching traffic, catching. And then, of course, Ace Milner, which they say is second round, projected second round, but his talent is a first rounder. I mean, you have a lot of guys that may fall in the second round. We may take someone like Dealins wouldn't be too bad playing in the slot. I like someone a little bit taller than you're like 5'9" or 5'8". And then looking deeper in the draft, Thomas Alford here, pretty good catching traffic, special catch. You start to fall off from there. But if he falls, he's projected third round. If he falls into like the 6th or 7th round, we'll definitely take a look at him. He's not too bad of a guy. Then we got this one in the 5th round that doesn't look too bad. At tight ends, we looked at some guys that were vertical threats or receivers, because we will more than likely get our second or third tight end who's a blocking tight end later on in free agency. But really, we're not seeing a whole lot that can be dual threats. I mean, Alex Merle here, he's going to fall like a rock out of the 3rd round, definitely. But he is a guy that we may possibly have in a developmental role later on in the draft if he falls that much. I mean, he's not all that much better than Bradley Decker here. But over the premier pass catching receiver for tight ends, looks like to be Dylan Pulsner out of Miami. B catching, B minus back catch, and then some C plus and catching traffic. Left tackle, we did look a lot because Leno just cannot handle the pressure here. So Brandon Hargrove here out of Alabama, left tackle. Good run block, good pass block, good impact block. I mean, he's a guy. He's going to be probably out of the top 10. More than likely drafted in top 10. And we're drafting probably at like 20 or 22. Somewhere in that point. But we do have a guy who is like Dontavius Burt or even Brian Quinn, who is projected to go in the 1st round, these two guys, but projected they're supposed to drop respectively for Burt in the 2nd round and then Quinn in the 3rd round. They're not too bad. My guess is their impact block isn't the greatest thing or their awareness. But with a pass block of B, run block of B, and impact of C+, and really just interchangeable. And on the other side, there's B minuses for Quinn, probably why he's projected to fall the 3rd round. I mean, we have some possibilities here. We also have Matt Street. He's a 3rd round pick. And here's the thing. Quinn looks like pretty much the same thing as Matt Street, other than probably his run block and his pass block are probably different by a couple watts to the combine. Left guard, looking for some guys that could possibly transition out the left tackle. And I saw Rickard here at Alabama. Developmental project for the most part. Center, looking for a backup center that can play either guard position, has some depth. Really didn't see a whole lot. James Hanowski, 2nd round pick. I don't want to take a big 2nd round pick up top. I just want to see what was out there. For some depth at guard and possibly center, Brennan Gilvella here, 7th round prospect, decent run block, decent pass block at C+, and impact block. But this is a guy, if he is actually there in the 5th or 6th round, we will pull the trigger here. with him. He looks like a decent player, especially for a late rounder. And then right tackle here, I'm actually going to get the last points with him. But really nothing over on the right tackle position either. I mean, Centrail Triplet may fall, later round pick, but just not a lot of guys are going to stay up in the top. Really the only biggest guys that you could take would be the left tackles over here with some safety and maybe even Rickard, who looks pretty safe, and some of these centers. But the right side of the line is neglected. But the defense looks like to be the deep spots on the league or in this draft. So, at left end, really this guy is second round projected. It's fifth round talent. Some good hip power, pursuit tackle. Don't see any rushing things on him. Same thing with Jason Benford. But Rashad Frazier here, some good power moves, B plus, some tackle, B block shedding. He's a balanced guy out of Penn State, 300 pounds. He could work in a 3-4. Over on the right end, Zach Kuistra. B minus finesse moves, but really from there, he may be a late second round and he may fall to the third or fourth. Defensive tackle. We saw a lot of defensive tackles in here. I would like a guy that can play a nose tackle, but also can flutter over in the ends if we have any issues. Sylvester Fisher out of Notre Dame, projected to drop. And the thing is, good power moves, pursuit, and block shedding. My guess is awareness isn't that high. But really, he looks the most polished in pass moves. He does have a move that's up there at the top, while the next one that only has any sort of moves up in the top three, besides these two C pluses with Dion Lett and Deontrius Dibignon here, is Jalen Stovall out of Alabama, and really it's just a power move. But the other two have C plus and power moves, so it's to think that really your best draft pick is probably Sylvester Fisher before looking at the combine. So we got a lot of defensive tackles here. At linebacker position, we definitely need some help. And I looked at a lot of pass rushers and prototype guys. We'll probably end up looking at some coverage guys that could possibly move from one of the outside linebacker positions towards the middle. But really didn't see a whole lot passed on the left side. Philip Britton looks like he's going to be a big guy here. Tackle, hip power, and block shooting are all B+. He will definitely go in the top 10. But Austin Mannion here looks like an intriguing guy. With power moves at A-, pursuit B-, and block shooting in the C+. He's a pass rusher. He'd be a guy we have to develop. But he looks like an intriguing guy with his power moves being an A-. And we actually get an idea of what his block shitting's at. Over in the middle linebacker, we're looking at run stoppers, some cover 2 guys, some prototype guys, and Dontravius Siski, we'll say the end silent there, really looks like the premier middle linebacker available. I don't think Sherman Downs is really going to be all that great in that. But the thing is, hip power is great tackle, pursuit, and then it doesn't fall off too much with Ross Covington as well, with tackle, hip power, pursuit, and even with Hayward, Branson, and Fonsetti here, who are projected to go 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. So it looks like we might be able to pick up a good middle linebacker. I mean, there's nothing other than Phil Ederle here we might take a look at as a run stopper, but really there's not too much there. On the right outside linebacker, Wynn here out of Notre Dame, power moves A-, hip power and block shooting both B+, looks like a good guy. And same thing with Branch Hobart out of Miami, another 3-4 pass rusher. Finesse moves, block shooting, hip power, all B+. And you have some couple other ones like TJ Clemmings and Jason Best, who aren't far behind, well, especially with TJ Clemmings. You just don't know what his block shedding is. but it looks like he can has good pursuit and hit power. But other than that, even with Best and even going down with Rich Anand here, who's just a cover two and not a pass rusher, I mean, still finesse moves, zone coverage, tackle. It doesn't look like if you want a pass rusher on the outside, it doesn't look like you're going to be disappointed in this draft by any means. At corner, I mean, I looked at it and I really don't see. You can see we pretty much took everyone from the fourth round, besides the guys that were 5'10. Anyone 5'11 and above, we took a look at all the way from the fourth round. Thing is, I didn't see anything. Nothing that really caught my eye. I mean, the only one that really did is here out of Penn State, Holcomb here. Zone coverage, man coverage B minus, press B minus, but I don't really see anything big. Behind that, maybe Travarius Weems, but he's a zone guy. I'd want someone more in the man coverage. And I don't, even this man coverage guy up here, his man coverage is C minus. You don't really see anyone that's some man coverage besides McElroy down here. Looks like he's going to fall in the draft to later in the rounds. And then same thing with Sherrod. Same thing with Waller. You don't really see a lot of things, so it looks like it might be a late round pick at corner or even nothing at corner. So because I couldn't see anything at corner, I'm going to look at free safety. Sorry. Sorry about that. Got choked up a little bit. So with DeBose here, he's a zone guy, and this would be one where it would be start playing a linebacker safety hybrid if we end up doing this. So instead of having I would want to have a coverage linebacker out there, probably be Trevathan. But for the most part, I wanted to look for someone that could be a big hitter, and we might play one of those hybrid positions. Hell, we might even play a no middle linebacker look and play two safeties out there if possible. But what we need to do is we need to sort out that middle of that defense, which is our biggest issue is the hole. When we have injuries is a big thing, and we will have injuries, probably around the same ones that we have now. And we really need to build up the interior of the line besides Goldman and Hicks. Unren needs to come in, and we need to get some thoughts behind Ballard. We need to get some depth at defense, and pretty much a lot of depth on offense, which really killed us this year. DeVos looks decent in zone coverage, good hit power, but really I don't see any corner that can come in. But on safety, I mean, Driver out of Notre Dame, good hit power, pursuit, zone coverage. We had another good hit power out of Georgia Tech and Gaddis. But it looks like we're just going to have to take the best player available in the whole thing. And even looking at all positions here, we don't have the influx of the extra players because the Combine hasn't went yet. Yeah, Combine hasn't gone yet. I mean, looking on our board-wise, the best player probably available, say at somewhere in our pick, would probably be Rashad Driver. And that's the guy we bring in, and then we're able to fluctuate with Jones Quartet playing up in the box, or maybe even playing Driver, a guy like that, up in the box in a 3 safety set to allow Callahan to be free in the slot, to cover the slot receiver, and allow your corners on the outside to deal with what's out there. And we also have the speed of Jones Quartet out there. And if we have any injuries at safety, we still have two safeties I'm very comfortable with out there, and even a third with Houston Carson. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that. Houston Carson would be like our fifth corner that I'm comfortable with. Past that, I'm not really comfortable with any other corner on the roster. But there's our scouting preview. When we go into live stream, I'll put a video with that in that, and we will definitely look at who we're scouting from there as we go into the offseason. Plus, we'll see who the Super Bowl is. So look out for that video. We'll definitely be looking at getting this team not really back on track because we did pretty good this year, but we really need to be able to operate with depth and with our depth players, which really killed us this year. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you all for joining me. Later, guys.